Time for our 4-3-2-1 in-depth custom tactics. This is a tactic and formation that everyone over on our Twitch stream, twitch.tv/AlexBee official, has been asking for ages because we've changed it up massively. We don't defend in the 4-4-2. We change what we do in the final third with our attackers, and it changes up the 4-3-2-1 as you know it. Now, this is a great formation to play against the 5-4-1, any 5 at the backs, 3 at the backs that you may play against. So if I'm coming up against someone that is playing a formation like that, this is the formation and tactics that I tend to go to. And yes, we will talk about the elephant on the screen, which is, or the elephant in the room, I should say. Elephant in the room, and then the man on the screen, which is Mbappe. We packed him during League On Team of the Season in a League One upgrade pack, which was absolutely mad. He is insane. We've been playing him on the wing up front. You know it. He is incredible. So, the 4-3-2-1, what are we looking for, first of all? What are the key things that we need to have in this formation? In your fullbacks, you need to have fullbacks that are good at going forward, all right? You need to get width from them, and they're going to help you out massively in that sort of area, out on the touchline, looking for crosses, ideally. Because we're going to look for crosses, I would like it if you can have a striker like Lewandowski, Benzema, whoever it may be, who's fairly tall, good with their feet, really good finishing, Harry Kane, all that sort of stuff, works a treat. And then your right forward and left forward, you know, Mbappe and Cabella here, they can be a little bit more nimble, quicker players, you know, the ones playing off that central striker. For your 3 centre mids, you'll kind of have a lot of freedom here to do what you want. You want to have one DM that is a little bit more defensive minded, Kante, obviously, in this particular role. And then DMs who can go forwards, who can defend, who can attack. Modric, Kevin De Bruyne, those sort of players are great at looking for finesses, travellas, long-range shots. Modric, 25 goals, 73 games. He provides in that role. And then I use Verratti as kind of a... He does go forward. He actually can shoot if you do green time it. But mainly, he's like a deep line playmaker. He's so good on the ball. One of my favourite cards in that middle of the park. And then, yeah, your centre-backs, obviously, you have the freedom to kind of do as you please. So, the 4-3-2-1, how do we line it up? Defensive style, we are going to go balanced. The reason why we go balanced is that we want to keep this neutral and compact. I say this every single tactic video. There's no need to go press on possession loss, press on heavy touch from minute 1, unless you're trying to get through your champs games as quick as you possibly can. But if you're chasing that rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, whatever it is, your particular goal, you want to spread out your games. You want to take your time. So running like, you know, a heavy press really isn't going to be worth it. You can change, obviously, into one of these tactics, you know, one of these defensive styles if you're losing the game. And if you feel you need to put a little bit more pressure on, that is not an issue. But from minute 1, just stick it neutral, stick it balanced, and go with balanced. 40 width and 60 depth. Old gen users, as I always say, feel free to drop this depth down to 45, 50 if you want to. The game is a little bit more open on old gen. It's a little bit more bigger gaps in the middle of the park to your defensive line. So running a lower depth isn't a problem. If you want to do that, it encourages your team to get back quicker and kind of make it compact. But for new gen users, this is personal preference. I think 50 to 60 is the sweet spot this year for many players. 71 depth gets you that auto offside trap. It's risky though. You know, you're going to do that if you're changing into a more aggressive tactic to try and chase back in that game. For now, though, we're going to go with that 60 depth neutral as you like it. Build-up play balanced. All right, so here's the key thing. This is what you need to listen to. We're playing against a 5 at the back. We're playing against a 3 at the back. What makes the 5 at the back strong? Have a little think right now. Well done to anyone that said, well, it has numbers behind the ball, Al. 5 players behind in defence. You have a compact midfield, and then they leave 1 man up front for that out ball. It's very difficult to break down. So what does that mean for us as the team that's trying to break it apart? Well, we need to play against it when it's not a 5 at the back. When isn't it a 5 at the back? When they transition forward in the attack, they're going to have their wing backs on join the attack. They're going to commit numbers forward, meaning there's 3 centre halves all on the halfway line ready for you to try and counter on. So, this is where it's interesting. A fast build-up can work, okay? The problem with fast build-up, though, is that when you win the ball in, say, 20 yards out from your goals, 25 yards out, all of your team then starts pushing and moving up the pitch. What does that mean for you? If you make a bad pass, if you make a bad choice, you are going to be in trouble. All of your players are going to be running towards the opponent's goal, and then next thing you know, it's going back towards your goal. So if you feel comfortable with playing your out balls and building up, you can run fast build-up. If you don't feel comfortable with triggering runs with L1, LB for off-the-ball movement, you can run also fast build-up. But if you are comfortable in that, and you feel, yeah, I'm okay, I can trigger runs myself, I don't need to take the risk of fast build-up, we can just go with balanced here, which is what I do myself, because I trigger so many runs off the ball. So many players go and give me those options. For our chance creation, we are going to go forward runs. This tactic pushes the defensive line deep into their box, which is then going to give us room between the midfield and the defense. This is mainly when you get into the final third. By this point, all of their players are now back behind the ball. We are then looking for German crosses, long-range shots, power shots, trivela shots, finesses, and maybe the chance to lay it into your centre forward's feet, get a little skill move off, reverse elastico, step over, and get that shot off. Now, this is where it's really interesting. We run a really wide width here in this 4-3-2-1. Why? Think about it. The opponent is playing 5 at the back. They have 3 centre-backs when they are on the attack. We want to pull that gap between each centre-back further and further away. This is exactly what it does. If you have it really narrow, the 3 centre-backs are all a few yards away from each other. We want to make that bigger. We want to make it wider. We want to spread it to give us more room on the ball with each individual opponent. We do go for a high players in box here, which is going to be 7. And then we go 2 corners, 1 free kicks, which really doesn't mean all too much in that area. Now, this is where it gets interesting, okay? I've not changed these around, so let's do that. Because obviously, I'm not playing Kante in that role, am I? Kante goes in the middle. Thank you very much. This is where it gets interesting. All of your 3 forwards are on target player. What? FIFA 23, target player. Why do we want this? Target player basically gets your player, Mbappe, Cabella, Lewandowski, to put their back to the opponent, back to goal, and face up for a pass into feet. Now we can look for our skill move when we lay it into feet. We can play it back off. We can ping the ball around in football. They're not constantly looking to run in behind. If the opponent's got so many men behind the ball, you don't want to keep looking in behind. You actually just want to lay the ball into feet and then pass it off. This is going to give you an attacking option in every area. But say you're hitting on the counter, Mbappe might not go running in behind now. So what do we need to do? We need to trigger L1 to send him on a run. We've done so many videos on this in the past. You have to trigger your movement with that L1, that LB button, okay? So that's where the big difference comes in. There's no comeback on defense. There's nothing like that. We're looking to hit on the counter. We are going to beat this 5 at the back via using this method. For your centre defensive mid, this is your Kante, your Vieiras, whoever it is. Stay back while attacking, cover centre. Nothing too outrageous there. Nice and simple. Your right CM, your left CM. Bit of a difference here. Pick your player that you want to get into the box for cross. Pick your player that you want to just linger in and around and do their own thing. I want Modric just lingering because he's great on the finesse. He's great on the trivela. So he's just on cover centre. Verratti is the one that's going to run late into the box. Think of like Frank Lampard showing on the edge to get that ball and find that shot. So that's where the difference is there. For your fullbacks, they are on stay back while attacking and overlap. But what I need you to do, you have to use the width from these as well. If the opponent gets every man behind the ball and you're seeing that you've got, quite a few men to break down, this is now where you've got to bring your fullbacks involved yourself and overload with that right forward and right back. Otherwise, it'll just be too easy for that opponent to defend it. It'll be easy anyway, even with 2, right? Because they have a left mid, they have a left wing back, they have a left centre back. You're still outnumbered. But you have to go and give yourself a little bit of a risk and give yourself that little bit more of freedom going forward into the attack. What you can do, if you are finding this to be, yeah, this is working, but I need to spread it even wider, do up on the D-pad and then right, and you can do hug sideline, and that will just spread the play even wider. That is also a kind of last resort should you wish to. So there are a few changes. Those are what you can do with this setup in the 4-3-2-1 and why it is so strong when you use it in that particular way. Let me know how you find it down below in the comments and leave a like if you enjoyed this video and if it helped. Subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.